Hello, for anybody watching who's interested, this is a tutorial on how you could spend black eggs in the Roblox game Egg Farm Simulator. So, right now I have 170 undecillion black eggs pending. I'll retire and confirm that, and I'll not be respecking and resetting my black eggs. So last run I got 1.8 decillion, more or less. All well and good. Reclaim my farm. Neato. Everything's all set. So, this is a bit of a long and roundabout way of doing it. It's just a way that I've kind of gotten used to. It takes a little bit of time, but it gets me results. As you can see from my prior retirements, so what I've gotten here is a level 21 trillion turtle egg, level 23 quadrillion Faberge, and the other of the main 7. The quaternaries are all level 104, and my good knight is at a nice 523 nonillion, and that's all pretty consistent. So what I would do, so not here, what I would do is first of all not be in full screen. So here I have written on this notepad, you can pause the video at the moment if you need to read it over, is information. So as I said here, use a calculator that can help you work with big numbers. Personally, I use this URL that provides an application, or in this case, a big number calculator. So the ideal here is, as it says, black egg distribution in order of priority. So your top priority is going to be good night, followed by the main 7, followed by turtle, and finally the quaternary 13 eggs, whose prices scale up exponentially. So now, and this is 20%, or in this case, each of these percentages represents a total, or represents how much of the total black eggs you have to spend. So you want to spend 20% of total on good night. From the very moment that you start calculating, like, not like 7% of what's left over, 70% total, you know, after you've spent each time. So 20% on good night, 7.1428% on the main 7, and what you'll find is 7.1428 times 7 equals approximately very close to 50%, and that's because you want to spend across those main 7 about 50% of your total black eggs, and so to spread that evenly between each of them, that's the amount that you want to aim for. Followed by 20% again, likewise with the good night egg, but this time on turtle, and then 0.692% on each of the quaternary 13, and you'll also find here, 0.7692 times 13 equals about 9.9 or 10. You want to spend about 10% of your total black eggs on the quaternary 13. Not a very large amount, and frankly it kind of works. I mean, you know, a few more levels, depending on which egg you're talking about, it might help a little more, so you can thusly kind of adjust the numbers of what you want to spend more on. Some people like to invest more in idle or radioactive. Scientists become somewhat helpful on stable and cactus, and what ninja for nine-tail chakra for tornado, and for fertilizer durations if you find that helpful. It's totally up to you, but this is like, you know, in the dedicated Discord server, this is the recommended percentages by at least a few people, and I think they specify for a hybrid build. If you're trying to go for, you can get some bonus from your combo, you know, turtle is pretty expensive to level up, and this keeps it pretty much in line in terms of how much of a damage buff you get from it, and as well the AFK egg for the idle bonus. So anyways, getting onto it, so I've already written down here, I have 170 undecillion, you know, black eggs, so that's, you know, undecillion, decillion, nonillion, what's that? Nonillion, octillion, sept, sext, quin, quad, trill, bill, mill, thousand, and finally 100 places of digits. So I've already written it out, and my next step would be, so where we left off, I had already written out for the big calculator, and I'm sure I could probably find a scientific notation calculator. If my brain could have immediately thought, okay, that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 37, 38, so 1.7038, I could have just written that into a scientific calculator or something, or I could have used another process that they wrote. I still need scientific notation, I believe. Anyways, 170 undecillion. So your next step is, in order to determine how high, or sorry, not how high percent, how many black eggs out of your total black egg count in this case, or in this example, 170 undecillion, you can implement yours in place of mine. In order to figure out how much to spend on the goodnight egg, we want 20%. Egg dues, I don't know, there's probably another way you could do this with division. The way to solve for this that most quickly comes to mind for me is to, in this case, so in the X field, my total black egg count, in the Y field, Y, highlighting just that, I want 0.2 to represent 20%. 20% of the whole number, 1/5, that would be represented as 0.2. And then just X times Y calculates the result for me. Therefore, what I want is I can just copy that. You couldn't see that I did it on my keyboard, but Control C. Alright, so 34 undecillion black eggs into good night. That's just a note that I write to myself so that I know how many black eggs I want to spend. Now, of course, being that you're probably familiar at this point with how Easter egg spending works, you know that this is the rare exception where it works, where you can literally just take this number and go into the game. Yes, I'm still here, thank you. And you can go up to the good night, and you can click, I don't know, 6 times or whatever to get to custom value and paste. Now, of course, the issue with this is that it actually does know what's going on with commas to a degree. It's set up in a certain way that I probably misunderstand. It does interact with it, but basically, normally it wouldn't accept a large standard notation number with commas in it. So you would actually just, what you could do is you could go, say, into Notepad, or if you have a different operating system with an equivalent feature, in my case it's Control H is the hotkey to replace, find what, not find that, just literally find comma and no spaces, and then replace with nothing, no spaces, and then press replace all. And that will just remove all the commas, so you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, backspace, 1, 2, 3, backspace for every time a comma shows up in standard notation numbers. Okay, so moving on, we know we have to spend 34 undecillion black eggs on the good night, but next we want to spend 7.1428% on each of the main 7. So we keep our original total black egg count in the calculator, and now we just generally enter this number in. We're going for the number. Now, originally it's 7.14. We're going to move the decimal place so it's a representative whole number, not a percent, as it were. So it's going to be 0.01428 instead of, what did we start with? 7.14. It's going to be 0.0 now. X times Y, and we're going to be spending 12.14, more or less, undecillion black eggs on each of the main 7. Now, and so, the discrepancy here is, with the good night, as we, touched on, you can just literally enter, because you begin with 1 level costs 1 black egg, and it changes a bit with water levels. Please don't crap on me for the acid levels. I was just testing something, and I know it's pretty pointless, but whatever. That's aside from the point. So, each level for good night will always cost about 1 black egg, but with the main 7, they cost a, scaling amount. 10 levels costs 147 quadrillion, in my case, each. And that increases thereon. Same principle applies for the turtle and for the quaternary 13, with different formulas, respectively. So, now while we have this number 12 undecillion black eggs, that doesn't mean that we're going to give it that many levels. And so, with that in mind, we're moving on to, we can just copy and paste for how many black eggs we're going to spend on the turtle egg into turtle. And finally, we're solving for what to give to the quaternary 13 eggs. And that'll be 0.00, in this case 7692, rather than 0.7692. Multiply that, you have 1.307 in this example, undecillion black eggs into each of the quaternary 13. So that's just the basis. That's how you calculate how much black eggs you want to spend on, this and that. And, I denoted, not here, but elsewhere, I've made a note that it's kind of obvious once you've already figured out, say, how much to spend on Faberge. Once you've gone from, alright, so you already leveled up Goodnight, so you went from 170 undecillion to, what was our calculation, minus 34 undecillion. So now you have, off the top of my head, what's that, 140 something undecillion left. So you spend however much you need to level up Faberge. Well, actually, I can just give you a live example. So we're going to start with Goodnight. Custom. Alright, so it went from, I don't know, however many nonillion levels we already saw, up to 34 decillion, nice and clean. Alright, so moving on to the first of the main 7, in no particular order. So 148 undecillion left over. So what we're going to do is just edit this, 148, yeah? And you can very simply, very easily just copy the number, how much you're supposed to put in one of the main 7 into the Y field below your new total black egg count, or at least current black egg count at this point, and then just X minus Y. So now you want to get down to 135 undecillion. And now if you ever get it to where there's, 2 digits for the, highest, I don't know how to word this, but like in game it would be represented as like this number, Goodnight's 34, 000. If you ever get it to 5 digits, you can always plug that in, and you can just open up your chat or elsewise. So what did we say? We want to get to 135.8, so 23 quadrillion. So I want to do about 7 quadrillion right off the bat. I can probably afford that. So that's trill, bill, mil, thousand, hundred, copy and paste, and then home, delete, 10, again, just make sure 135, that's what we're going for, or to be safe, 136. Not too bad. And if you see the, like me right now, I haven't scratched anything yet from 148 undecillion, so now that I'm up to a nice and even 200 quadrillion levels, I can add on another digit and just start adding hundreds of quadrillions, and that should get me to how many black eggs I need to spend faster. Alright, so now it's 147 undecillion, and I'm going for 136. 146. 144, come on, 143, 42, 41, 40, 39, almost there, 38, 37, and a couple more, right, 36, okay, and then being that it says 899 for whatever reason, hello, game lag? Oh, it's probably not receiving. 100 levels? Any takers? Oh, give it a few thousand? There we go. Okay, so we got to a nice and even number. Now, what we can do is that's 5.9 quintillion Faberge levels, or whatever's your example. So you can go 900 quadrillion, trillion, billion, million, thousand, 100. So that represents, I believe, our Faberge egg level. Now you go on to your next main 7, and it was back at 23 quadrillion, so 23 trillion, billion, million, thousand, 100. And you subtract, very easy, get this is how many levels you're going to give to the rest of your main 7 eggs. So that's, it's quintillion, right? So, no. 5.877 quintillion levels, and you can just copy and paste that after you, write it up wherever, or, so they're all going to do that, where they're going to be at that little odd number. So that's Wonderland, that's main 7, 2 out of 7. Here's Demeaning, next is Dragon, then AFK, Alright, and then Newton, and finally Eggplant. Let me see, make sure that's right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And of course, don't accidentally go ahead onto Turtle and try and give it anything, because if you try and spend as much as you did as on the main 7, it would severely imbalance your black eggs, if not just fail to buy because you just can't afford it. Hopefully the latter, where it just does nothing and you're like, oh, that saved me. But I have seen, it seems like, let's see, the quaternary 13 eggs they will take custom values and it will just try and give as many levels as possible, regardless of if you can afford to give as many as you entered or not, for whatever reason. Okay, so next is Turtle. We have a leftover 67.59 undecillion, so we're going to take out 5 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not actually taking them out permanently, but just deleting that many. 67590. Oops, 67590. Okay, and next we just need that value. Oh, not this one. This one. Right. We're returning back to that 34 undecillion that we're going to spend. X minus Y yet again. And we know that we now want to get down to 33.59 undecillion. And again, this is in the case wherein you can actually see all 5 digits of your black egg value. This is just one of those examples of the time we can. 33.59. So, alright, let's try and do this nice and easy. So 9, so that's trillion, billion, million, thousand, hundred. Wait, and then that's... oh. No. So 33.59. Alright, so it's taking a little bit out, and as you keep spending, it's going to start to... sorry, by taking a little bit out, it's taking a little chunk of your black eggs, and then it just becomes more and more as the price scales, bit by bit. And I'm sure there's, like, the mind method of determining, like, what is it, 80% as many turtle levels as main 7, or is it, like, 80% of the exponent, or scientific notation, whatever it is, number of digits, 80% of the digits that you would, of levels worth that you would give to Turtle, then Faberge, something like that. 33.59, or 33,590. Right, 33,590. And at this point, you can see that it's probably safe to start giving it hundreds of trillions in this case. 33,590. And you just want to start slowing down as you get closer to that target. Oh yeah, 40.4. Oh yeah, at this point, I don't know if I would even hazard spending 1/10 of what I was before. I mean, you know, at that point, giving it that many levels, it might not even substantially increase, in this case, your DPS. So you have 35.97 undecillion. 35.97. Let me just try and make sure I did that right. I don't think I took out enough numbers there. So that's all 5. 35,970. Okay, so I'm going to edit that out. Oh, at this point, though, being that we've already taken care of Turtle, you can either do what we did in the notepad, and we can, you know, go by the reference of 1.307 undecillion, or, if you don't mind, being that this is probably the last of the black eggs you're going to spend, since you have 13 quaternary eggs to level, you can just do remaining black egg total divided by 13, x divided by y, or //y, and so you get that you're probably going to be spending about 2.7, in this case, undecillion black eggs per quaternary egg. Now that you know that, you can just copy and paste it into the y field and x minus y. So now we know 33.203 is our goal here. So 33.203 undecillion, or higher. We don't want to overspend, otherwise that might kind of be at the that would be at the detriment of the levels for your other eggs. Alright, so again, 33.203. 34,207. Yeah, I don't even think I need to do the math, but just in case, 34,207. You could punch that as it is into the calculator. That's my current total black eggs minus 1,763. Yeah, that would take me below my target of how much to spend. So, in total, I'm giving each egg 16 levels in this case. So you could, 16, select and copy, and just be careful to spend once. In case you lag, you might press confirm after entering how many egg levels to give, or even just the button that shows how much to spend on like these multipliers or increments of levels. If you don't see any change, either you couldn't afford it, or it's lagging and it's actually going to process your input, and it's just you can't see it now, so you don't want to double up on it and then end up over leveling and losing out on black eggs. So make sure I didn't miss anything. Sorry I was taking so long there. I was mostly trying to think of the words to say to explain what the issue is, in case you hadn't already ever had it happen to you before and you go, oh god, there's no point in resetting my black eggs because I only get 75% back, but I really screwed up. So 120, 120, 120 all around, and it looks like that's all good. You certainly couldn't get 13 divided by 1.7, it doesn't equal 1, so you couldn't give them any extra levels. So at this point, you, like, personally, myself, I mean, they say you could re-spend more to just creep up the main 7, and I guess you could divide 13, in my case undecillion, by 7 and see if you can give them that many levels, or you could just I don't know if it would give them that many since we've already spent so much, so I might just see if I can give another, let's see, 100 trillion, that's billion, million, 100 trillion levels or so to my turtle, and it looks like I could actually give 200 trillion, and then with the very leftovers, let's see, 2.5 undecillion, we'll try that, 2.5 undecillion. Actually, what's this? Let's see if this will work. Yep, there we go. Then I can just edit that to about 1.5, and there you go. That spends about all of my black eggs on Easter eggs, and I got them about evenly leveled. You can see the before and after on what levels I had them at prior and what levels I have them at now, and between that and my Phoenix egg setup at this stage of progress for myself, I'm up to -4 chickens per level, literally not -4, so like 6 per level. It's actually and 170% exception chance, 4.6 base boss health. Now granted, this is of course at levels 1 to 499, it scales these stats, and of course it's going to be easily max mutated chance, so this is a way to level up your Easter eggs. Yeah, if you have a different method with which you do this, if it pretty much gets the same results, if you have any different ratios of black eggs and how you spend them, builds, whether it be hybrid, active, AFK, whatever the case may be, feel free to say so in the comments or share, or yeah, cheers and good luck and have fun,